Beautiful. All right, everybody. Welcome to our webinar, Start Strong, Moving Just Beyond Sales Goals in 2019. This is a webinar put on for you today by the WDDA, exclusively for its members as a member benefit. And if you're watching this and are not yet a member, make sure that you sign up and these resources become part of your membership perks. So really excited to hop in today. And for those of you who might not yet know me, my name is Madeline McCrae, and I have been teaching for the WDDA now for a couple of years. And I'm a speaker, a coach, consultant. I work with businesses in the home professional and home improvement space all day, every day. And I zero in on growth and process and sales to help businesses really get the edge and to move beyond where their competitors are and to take their place in their local market and sometimes beyond. Have helped businesses reach multi-million dollars of sales growth and have worked with thousands of dealers over the course of my career and very specifically as a coach and consultant. So welcome to today's webinar. I'm really excited to be here with you today. Just as a couple quick housekeeping things, feel free to share your questions as they come up. We have a little bit of time reserved at the end of our presentation today for Q&A. So keep those questions rolling in right there in the Q&A box. It should be at the bottom of your screen. And I'm happy to answer them as I go if I see them pop up, or if there are questions waiting at the end to cover them at the end with you today. We've got about 60 minutes of time together. Might cut it a little bit shorter than that. We'll see how it goes, but around 60 minutes of time together, about 45 minutes of content and about 15 minutes of Q&A with you. So make sure you're asking those questions as they come along. The more you ask, the more robust this presentation becomes right for you. So what we're going to be diving into today are a couple of key elements. And the first one is we're going to be looking at what exactly you should be planning for and looking at in your business when you're really thinking about growth. For many businesses this last year, 2018, the economy was really good to us, right? I've celebrated so many record-setting years with my clients because the economy was really nice and strong and people were investing in their homes and the housing market was doing well. So we had a lot of that positive momentum. And as we go into 2019, some of my clients are seeing that keeping on going and others have had a little bit of a quiet January. So we want to really look at what you need to do for yourself and for your team when you're really thinking about growing this business. And the next piece that we're going to be looking at is how to be really truly on board with making your goals a reality. At the end of the year, December, January, December, many companies are really looking at what they want to do in 2019 in the next year. And as January hits, we have a lot of excitement and a lot of momentum towards those goals. But as the year progresses, that can really wane. And one of the key success factors of the businesses who grow by multi-millions are the ones who don't lose sight of what it is they set out to achieve in the first place. So being clear about what you want to do and then being consistent about pulling that through your calendar month after month and through your team month after month, day after day is really a critical success factor for helping you become part of that elite top performers group. And then what we also want to look at today is that one critical element to get in place so that you make really good goals for 2019. Now, I'd love to hear, and you can actually pop this into the Q&A. I have that screen open here on the side. If you already have your goals set for the year, go ahead and share that. So in the Q&A box, type in if you do have the goals set, say I do, and if you don't yet, say that you don't, because I will help to tailor make this for all of you who invested your time here with us live and help you zero in on the pieces to cherry pick for yourselves whether you've set goals or whether you've not set goals and need a little bit of support in doing that. So go ahead and pop that into. Rick has his goals. Woo, love it. Thanks, Rick. So see, when you do the chat, when you pop into the Q&A, I will give you a shout out. And if you don't want me to, just say, quiet or confidential or don't share. Okay, so let's just jump right in today and get a couple of fundamental pieces. So I thought that this would be really appropriate, seeing that the Northeast is getting slammed with a huge snowstorm, to use a skating quote here from the famous Wayne Gretzky. He always said that his key to success is to skate to where the puck is going to be, to really plan where that puck is going to be. So many of us are playing our game inside of our business, right? We're playing our business, with what's right in front of us. And we forget to skate to where that puck is moving. And we stay where the puck is in the moment. And it actually prevents us from getting to where we want to grow. So this is a really beautiful piece of wisdom, to skate to where the puck is going to be. As you're looking to set yourself up for success in this coming year, really be thinking about, where do you want to move? There are some of my clients who just want to stay where they are. They want to sustain and to status quo. They don't really want to grow massively, and they certainly don't want to shrink. So if that's where you're going to be, you want to be right where you were at the end of 19, at the end of 18, at the end of 19, then you plan that way. If you want to be 20% more, then you plan that way, right? And we're going to suss out that a little bit today in this webinar. So really think about skating to where that puck is going to be. And for those of you who may have been live with me and with the WDDA at Dealer Day last year, one of the things that I talked about is the concept of success and being clear about what success means to you. And one of the reasons that we want to be really clear about this is the opportunities that are going to present to you in this upcoming year. I'm sure it's already happened, right? You've been talking with colleagues, maybe you've been reading the Window Door magazine and been looking at other resources online, and all of these exciting opportunities have shown up. Best practices other businesses are doing, cool new software that comes onto the market, an awesome product innovation, something that's really cool that you're loving and you want to add. When you're not clear about where you're going, it's very difficult to make those choices. And when you're not clear about what your biggest priority inside of your business is, it's really difficult to ascertain which doors you should go through. When you see that all of these options are available to you, sometimes it can create paralysis. Or the other option is that we try to do everything, right? Let's just pretend for a minute that we have $6,000. There are 6 stores here. We have $6,000 to invest in these various opportunities. If we're not really crystal clear about what we're trying to do, we might put 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. But not all opportunities are equal. Different opportunities are going to get you closer to your goal more quickly than others. What would it be like if you invested 6,000 in one and let the other ones disappear? Right? Sometimes the best choice is closing that door, not going through that door. And when you don't have that parameter set, that laser crystal clear vision of what you want to do set, you end up wasting one of your most precious resources as an owner, as a leader, as a manager, and that's your time and your emotional energy around where you're moving inside of your business. So it's really essential when you have all of these inspirations, right? This is my little goals guy. He's got all these inspirations. He's got all these ideas, which again, appropriate to the weather today, it's snowballs, right? He's got all these different things that he wants to work on inside of his business. And what most of us do is we start doing exactly this. We throw all of our snowballs into a pile and we start madly rushing one to another towards all these different goals inside of our business. And we don't have any overarching strategy around our goals to help us solidify our efforts and focus our energies. Look at this funny little cartoon and look at all the footsteps between the different snowballs that this guy is rolling. So much wasted energy, so much extra running back and forth, touching this, running here, running there, when if there were a different strategy around what you wanted to do, you could laser in and save those steps, save the running back and forth. There is a myth in our culture that multitasking is just the way to go, right? With everything. And it's applied to areas that it should not be applied to, right? The word, the etymology means the actual fundamental structure of the word is multitasking, doing many little check-offable tasks at once. It's not multi-goal. When we try to multi-goal and all of our goals are equal, what happens when we have investment opportunities? How do we know how to divide those up? When we have 3 competing priorities and 1 hour to work on them, which one goes first? If all things are equal, then we have no way of making those decisions. When we get clearer and clearer, and this is both for us as owners, as leaders, and for our team, when they know rock solid where they're going, it's easier to make those decisions because many of the decisions have been made in advance. right? You already know what to do. And you don't have to run from thing to thing to thing, because look at this poor guy. He's run everywhere, and at the end, he hasn't even crossed one goal line. It's really demotivating when you are striving and struggling and not actually crossing over that goal line. It's a fundamental piece of our human design that we want to celebrate wins. We want to achieve something, especially if you're bringing on top performers and high achievers. They're going to feel ongoingly frustrated if they're continuously falling short of their goals, right? So you want to help them learn how to prioritize by looking at things a little bit differently. And one of the major pieces is to really be clear about where you are and where you're going. Right? I always like to use the example of our GPS, right? On our GPS, on our phone, this is my phone, on our GPS, this magical thing happens, right? We pull up our maps, and whether you're using Waze or you're using your maps on your phone, you pull it in, you enter an address, you press go, directions, and it automatically charts your path, right? But what the beauty of geolocation is that your geolocator, that means your phone knows where you are. It gives you your starting point, and you give it the ending point, and it charts your path. And if you make wrong moves along the way, it recalculates for you, right? It recalculates for you. This is a very important simile for our business. We need to know where we are. And the magic of maps, the beautiful thing is it knows for you. But we as business owners, we as leaders of our divisions, we as people executing on the vision need to know where we are, so we can orient ourselves towards where we need to go, right? So we can course correct when we're in motion, but when we're standing still, we can't do that. Okay, so we need to get really crystal clear about where we're beginning. When we don't get clear about where we're beginning, where we're headed, we get pulled in a lot of different directions. And this pulling in a lot of different directions ends up dissipating our potential power. We as human beings, we as organizations, as businesses, have a collective amount of energy. And when it gets pulled apart and dissipated on things that are not valuable or lending towards the bigger picture, we are losing so much of that potential energy, so much of that momentum that could get us to where it is we want to move, right? So it's really critical so that we don't waste this resource that we have, which is our energy and our focus and our momentum, to get crystal clear so we don't get pulled, but rather we choose. We choose. And when we choose, opportunities jump out at us, right? It's easy to spot that red door from a long distance away. But when we don't have that red to paint on that door, so we know, yes, this is it, everything's kind of lost in the sea of gray and white. We don't know which one we should pursue, which opportunity is really aligned with where it is that we're going. There's a great book called Playing to Win. And one of the questions that the author asks, has you ask a strategic question, is what is it going to take for this to be true, right? What is it going to take? And that's a question we're going to be tackling a little bit today. What must be true to win? When one of the first things that must be true, you've got to decide what winning looks like. This is even before we set our goals. You as an owner, you as a management team, you as the leader need to decide, both from a macro company perspective and from a personal perspective, what does success look like to you? Right? That's the first starting point. So many business owners just start doing the next thing, doing the next thing, doing the next thing, and hashing out their day-to-day without being guided by that North Star. And for me, in this perspective, that North Star is, what does success mean to you? And I'm going to get personal with you here for a minute. This is one of the factors that success means to me, right? Being able to spend quality time with my sweet little son. Single mom, I have a beautiful business, I have a beautiful child. And my success is not just about money and status and the business rolling and succeeding and gaining momentum. That's, of course, something that I want. What's even more dear to my heart is that time that I get to spend with my son. So what does success look like to you? Don't be afraid to look beyond the walls of your business for the definition of success. right? Success within your business is going to be handled inside of our goals, and we're going to get there in just a couple minutes. But you as a person, what does success mean to you? And it's a really, really powerful question. Again, I asked it live at Dealer Day this past year, and it's a question that's important to ponder, because the answer to that question shifts as your life changes and as you grow and your situation in life changes as well. So it's a good question to continue to ask ourselves and challenge ourselves on it, right? What does success look like to you? Whether you're having something that I mentioned, sharing quality time with your family or friends, whether you have a hobby that you like to pursue, whether it's other business opportunities or being a coach or a mentor, whatever it is that success means to you, once you have decided and captured that, don't shy away from sharing it, right? Sometimes there are deeply personal parts of our vision of success that we don't want to share too publicly, but we can share it with dream enablers inside of our circle, other peers who are rooting for us, absolutely. But the pieces that are not maybe profoundly personal, but that other people could relate to, don't shy away from sharing it with your team. You can be human, right? You don't have to be some other earthly thing inside of your business. You can be a human person with goals and motivations that are beyond the four walls of your building, right? Share it with your team, because your ability to see what success looks like could inspire them. And when they're moving towards something that they want in their personal life, something that's successful at work and at home, they're going to be more motivated to achieve and to accomplish on your behalf, on the behalf of the company, than if you isolate them as a person from them as an employee, right? It's a huge motivational factor that a lot of businesses don't tap into. That success can mean something outside of the business. And when you tap into that personal motivation, it's a really, really powerful tool. Helps you to inspire your team, right? Do as I do, right? You know that old adage, do as I say, not as I do? That's an adage from a really bad leader. It means that you're not leading by example. And when you lead by example, people get really inspired to follow you. There's a really awesome book called The 5 Levels of Leadership that talk just about that, right? Those footsteps of success that people will follow you. Why do great leaders have cohorts behind them charging into that battlefield? Right? First of those things, one of the major reasons is being inspiring, walking your walk and inspiring your team to do the same. And certainly something that you can do as an owner, if you're talking about your executive leadership team, your top managers, your supervisors, even down to, the worker bees, your crew members, help them define what success looks like. What success looks like for them in their role, right? That helps them get really clear about whether or not they're performing to your standards. And why does that success in their role mean something to them as a person? When you can tie work success to something that someone's looking to accomplish as a person, you've got fire that's motivating them, that's pushing them to do more, be more, because it's not just about the work, right? It's not just about the work anymore. And when you do that, when you decide and when you share and when you get your team involved, this creates a different dynamic for you to set those goals that motivate. When you have someone who's doing something because they want to do it, your whole need to micromanage disappears, right? People will step up and take ownership of what they're doing at a higher level when they are invested in the success. And it doesn't need to be a financial investment. When they are emotionally invested in it, it changes the game. It really does change the game. We want goals to pull us forward. We want goals to help our team on those wet, rainy, sub-zero days to pull them out of their cozy bed and come to work and giving everything that they've got, right? We want to be that attractive force for them. We put this into our hiring. We put this into our marketing. I'm sure if you've joined me for webinars, you've seen this image before, because it's so important to remember that you have control. You have control over that magnet. You can turn that magnet up, the intensity up, to draw your team forward. And that's what this little mini process does. This whole idea of making this bigger than just the goal for the business. Success is a major team sport, right? There is no one who succeeds on their own, ever. ever. We need that person to help us roll those letters. And our team is exactly that. When they feel like you are rooting for their success, they're rooting for your success, and together you're making the business succeed, you become unstoppable. Right? Those are the type of leaders that don't need to force people to do anything. Right? They want to do it. They want to do their best for you because they believe in what they're trying to achieve for themselves, and then that belief seeps over. Now, it's really hard to keep that flame moving all day, every day, month after month. It's easy in the beginning when we set those goals, everyone's on fire, and then this first month, everyone's really excited about it, but then life steps in, right? Difficult situations arise, whether they're with other team members, with difficult clients, with a difficult project, things come up, right? Sometimes a vendor drops the ball on us. All sorts of things could happen. Sometimes the economy has a little bit of a slump, and we get impacted. So how do we carry that torch with us on a regular basis? This is a very simple but powerful thing. You can choose a word that really captures the energy of what you're looking to do in your company as an overarching thing. So my word for this year in my business is transform. Transform. Take all these beautiful pieces that we have and transform them to bigger stages. That's one of the things I'm doing. What are you doing in your business? Is there a word that you could use? One that feels exciting to you, that you're willing to weave in. You see it in big Fortune 500 companies, right? Why not do it, right? When big CEOs talk and they have their watchword for the year and they might have their slogan for the year, just because big companies are doing it doesn't mean we can't borrow that. Right? We can use it both for ourselves, for our business. And one of the ways to keep this alive and meaningful is if you as the owner, the manager, the leader choose that word on behalf of everyone, but on a quarterly basis, meet with your team and co-create a word. Right? I'm not saying make something up, but I'm saying choose a word together. It's a practice that I have with my team, and each quarter we choose a word that helps us be that red door. That helps me remind them on a daily basis of how they should be prioritizing when things get busy, of what decisions should be made first and what things are the top of the mind priority and in service to our greater goals, right? So when we do this, it keeps that fire constantly alive, and it reminds them to remain involved, because that's one of the biggest helpful pieces around getting your goals to remain a reality and getting them to become a reality is engaging your team profound, not just on the surface, right? Not just on here's your key performance indicators, go do it, but really from the campaign for the hearts and minds. That's what makes the needle move, because they're wanting to do it for themselves and for you. So once we've decided what that vision looks like, once we've engaged in that vision, the next thing that you want to do, and this is now where we take the macro and we start bringing it into the micro, we start bringing it into the nuts and the bolts, is you want to establish your current baseline. Know where you are, right? I've watched businesses make decisions without having this baseline established. And it really is defeating, because we talked about the geolocation with the maps, right? What is the first presupposition of that geolocation? When you type in the destination, it's that you know where you are. The phone knows where you are. You need to know where you are in your business too. It's critical to your success. Now, this might seem, well, duh, Madeline, of course we need this. For you, it's obvious. Maybe it's obvious for you. For your team members, the further you get from your position, maybe it's not as obvious for them. They're so in the weeds, they're so in the doing of the day-to-day activities that they might not look at what is their baseline, right? What is that current baseline? And there are all things that we have to consider. So naturally, of course, we all want more money in our bank accounts, right? The financial factors are something that most businesses find easy. What does your annual revenue look like? What's your profitability look like? What is your average sales price? What is your close rate? Those hard and fast numbers related to the top line and bottom line usually are things that businesses get their arms around. That's a must-have. If you do not have that in your business, you are crippling your own success, and you've got to know those things. You've got to know those things, because if you want to move the needle, you have to know where the needle's starting. You have to know where you start to get an improvement and where it is that you want to go. But that's not enough, right? The title of our webinar today was Moving Beyond Just Sales Goals. A lot of businesses are pretty decent at setting sales goals and working towards those goals, but that is not enough. Your business is not just sales, right? You live that every day, right? You've got production, you've got customer service, you've got every piece of your business needs to be evaluated to establish those baselines. Now, it's easy. Like I said, the financial pieces are easy, but do not ignore other critical factors in your business. Maybe there are pieces of your business that really need attention. Are there skill gaps, right? There's this brand new word in marketing that's called skill up, right? I'm not a huge fan, but I see where it's meaning, what it means. It means, is there a big gap in skill that you need to up-level the skill of a certain team member or a group, right? An entire department is lacking. Do you have processes that are too loosey-goosey or not existent? Like they exist in your head, you know what you want people to do, but you haven't transformed those into processes that even the most junior level person inside of your organization can actually execute on? What about tools? Is your software robust enough to really help your team execute on what it is that you want to do? What about your marketing? Where are you with your marketing strategy, your marketing plan, and your tactical execution? Have you budgeted that out? Do you know exactly how many new leads you need every single week, every single month to hit those sales goals? Have you done your homework to truly establish the baseline of where you are today with all those pieces and where it is that you want to be, where you are wanting to be? The reason we want to do this is we want to make it really easy for ourselves to make decisions. We've got to know where we're starting, right? If you're starting at, $1 million in sales, that took a lot of work and effort and energy to get there, right? Where are you going next? Do you want to go to 2 million in sales? Do you want to go to 5 million or to 7 million, 10 million, 12? Where do you want to go? If you're not aware of where you start, if you're starting at 1 and you want to go to 10, that's very unlikely without a major acquisition going to happen in a year. That's very unlikely. So you need to know where you are, right? If you have all these holes in your business that you need to fill up, then that's going to take your time and effort and energy away from driving sales. So who's going to do that for you, right? There's a ripple effect inside of our business when we really know where we're beginning. It allows us to gauge how much distance we can travel. Really powerful. Once you have that baseline, the next thing that you want to do is have a little fun, right? You want to imagine your different options for the year. I've watched a lot of businesses establish their baselines and then pick their goal, and that's it, right? They don't even play. They don't have fun in this stage. And this is another stage, especially for those of you with a little bit larger businesses, where you can get your managers, get your supervisors, get your team involved in the fun of this. Play with your number, enjoy the energy of the possible, imagine together what could be possible in your business, what kind of fun things you could do as a team, right? One of my clients is taking all of her team members to a trade show, much like Dealer Day, right? She's taken them to an educational event as part of their comp plan, as part of their awards for hitting some of their goals. That came from them. They wanted to learn. They wanted to be part of this. They wanted to be around some of their peers. Right? What could be possible? Money is not the only way. And it's actually, I've done sales team analysis over and over and over and over. As long as your sales team, for instance, is getting paid a fair wage and they feel good about what they're being paid, their compensation, money is usually the fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4, number 4, about the things that really motivate them. Freedom, the ability to do what they want to do. The ability to spend time with their family. Right? The ability to serve their clients at a high level. Think about this not just for your sales team, but also for the other departments. What does success look like? How could they contribute? What could be possible, right? Have fun, play with it, enjoy the possibilities. think about that question. Remember that book I referenced, that Playing to Win. What must be true to win? What do you need to get to where you want to grow? That's where that baseline will really, really help you. Knowing where you are, take a glance. If we're moving in this direction and we need a major influx of leads, we had better make sure our marketing strategy, our marketing plan, our tactics, and our budget are rock solid, right? And then as a sister to that, we better be prepared to produce, right? Our crews and our production better be ready to step up to the volume that we're going to create to them. What do we need to get to where we want to grow, right? And when you involve your team and you show them that, hey, you working in this administrative role and being in charge of this impacts this, this, and this, and this, they again get part of that bigger picture, and that helps everyone work together towards a common goal. It might seem like a stretch to have one overarching goal, to have one really big word that encompasses the spirit of where you're moving, but it helps to keep everyone aligned towards that. Each piece of the business, each department, each execution branch has a role to play. And when they can see how their role is interconnected with the others, and how just because their position might not be as elevated or might have a perception of being more lowly, that they're just as critical to the success as the higher ups, it really changes the tone, and it helps you to be able to provide for your team what you need to get to where you want to grow. I want to give you a quick little word of advice here. I love this little phrase. Don't trip over a gold block to pick up a penny, right? So when you're looking at the gaps inside of your business, I've watched so many companies, for instance, I'm going to give an example that's maybe something that you'll resonate with. I've watched companies completely rebrand, invest in the actual new logo, rebrand everything, relaunch their website, do a ton of client-facing marketing work, and invest hugely in that when they have a gap in their systems, when they don't have the back office infrastructure that's consistently allowing them to win. So they're feeding what they want to turn into this lead machine, but they're forgetting that there's a hole over here, right? We don't build mountains before we backfill holes, right? So that's what I mean by don't trip over a gold block to pick up a penny. Don't do the thing that's going to make an incremental improvement in your business when the pieces that could potentially cause catastrophic issues have not been solved, right? Make sure your baseline is clear, and that when you're looking at where you want to go, do not ignore those elephants, those gaps, those holes that could really hurt your departmental performance and really cause you issues. Okay, and teach your team the same thing. Don't trip over a gold block to pick up penny. Don't spend your time responding to interoffice bantery emails. That's the pennies when you have an angry customer issue that you need to resolve, right? Don't get caught up in the little daily tasks when you have a bigger strategic decision that you need to make, right? It's very, very easy to do in reality. And when we say don't trip over a gold block to pick up a penny, you're like, well, who does that? It's when you're not watching where your feet are going. Your feet move in the direction of your thoughts. And when your thoughts are focused on the bigger goal, your feet will avoid those stumbles. Okay, so keep those in mind. Next, we want to ask ourselves, do we have the right people in the right seats doing the right work? Right? When we're looking at the baseline and we're playing with what's possible and where we want to move, right? We talked about the example of increasing your marketing spend to maybe your advertising spend to drive up more leads. Then what about the people to execute on those leads? Do you need an increase in sales team? Do you need an increase in administration? Do you need an increase in your crew? Where do you need an increase, right? Your people. But your people are not only bringing in fresh faces. Also think about, do you have maybe a diamond in the rough who you could polish up and train and work with to move them into a more influential role inside of your business? Don't underestimate the team that you already have, and that by investing in them, by investing in their training, by investing in systems to support them, by improving your processes, you could get significantly more productivity out of the people you already have. Is the people something that you really want to focus on? Maybe you have an issue with morale. Often, morale issues, sadly, start by looking in the mirror. That's where they begin. What's going on with your team? Is there potential and opportunity there? Do you want more at-bats, right? We talked about this a little bit. More quality leads, better lead management, right? All these are opportunities, and you've got to be crystal clear on where you're moving so that you don't just get pulled in every direction and take every opportunity as it comes up. Be prepared for the fact that you're going to have a lot of opportunity coming your way. Could you improve your close rate, right? What does your close rate look like? Under 30, 30 to 45, 45, 65, 75, 75 and over. Jumping to this higher close rate is all about investing in your sales process, right? The $1 million closers that I work with, it's all about rocking the process. They have a system and they use it every time and they don't vary. Their approach varies based on person-to-person interactions, but their process is set in stone. Is your process set in stone? Could you invest there, right? There are plenty of companies who can help and support you, ours being one of them, but there are lots of them out there who can help you rock your sales process. Is this an opportunity for you? Is your average sales price where you want it to be? Is that an opportunity for you? Right? As you're playing with where you want to move, before you make the decision, look at everything. Don't leave any stone unturned. It's really fun. Even if you've already made your goals for the year, this is a way of finding how you can accelerate towards those goals even more quickly. Now, once you've done all that, now comes the fun point. To set your goal, your focus point. Remember how I made the distinction earlier between multitasking and multi-goaling. Multi-goaling is not a thing, right? You need to be really, really clear on the one thing that is going to move your business into the next level that you want it to go, whatever that is, right? Is it 5% growth, 10% growth, 20% growth, 30% growth? Where are you, right? Where are you in your journey? And what is that overarching big thing that you can do to accomplish it? That's the red door. You want to get that red paint and you want to help everyone understand how to use it so that they can spot those opportunities, save you time, save you effort, save you energy when you're making these moves forward, right? Set that compelling goal, right? Set that compelling goal. Now, what this looks like, so many times when I teach this, people say, yeah, but Madeline, I can't just set one goal. There's the big goal, right? That is, all the smaller goals are going to be in service to the big goal. I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, saying set one goal and forget all the rest. I am saying have one major piece, right? For me, it's transformation. For you, maybe it's growth. Maybe for someone else, it's customer service or customer experience. What is that thing, the overarching thing that you're going to do? That was that setting that word in the beginning, right? And then the big goal. What must be true to win? What is it going to take for us to go from the baseline of where we are today to where we want to be, popping bottles, drinking champagne at the end of 2019? What does that gap look like? What big rock do we need to climb? Do we need to master to make this happen? That's your big goal, right? Does it help? And then the way this red door process works, this red door philosophy works, is when you have that big goal in mind, you can ask yourself, does this small opportunity help us move in this direction or not? Does this big opportunity help us move in this direction or not? And sometimes when the opportunity is so big that we can't just use that, we have to reshape where it is that we're going. And that's a really important piece around helping your team. So many companies hire these rock stars. You spend a lot of money finding them, bringing them on board, and then you treat them like they're not rock stars. Rock stars want the freedom to get to where they want to go in their own way. And you've got to let your team do it reasonably in their lane within their own way. If you micromanage the process too much, you squeeze the inspiration right out of the goal, and they will stop pursuing it. They will stop. You're holding a hand around the neck, and that's where the breath goes. The breath is what gives the body life, right? Unfortunately, my son learned that lesson very sadly with a chicken. Didn't know his throat was where his breath came through his body. Poor little chicken. Don't do that to your team. Don't do that to your goals, right? Allow them to journey towards the goal in their lane. When you have their lanes very clearly marked and they know where their area is, they can move left and right and left and right. It's part of this, the auto adjust, right? The recalculation of the route. When you focus on the one thing that has the greatest potential to get you to where you want to grow, this is how the goal achievement process feels. Now, really important note to make. Remember the first cartoon that I showed with our little goals guy? Well, the second one, right? Where he was running all around this field with rolling his snowballs from this one to that one to the pile to the first one to the second one, rolling the ball, going back and forth and all over, where there were so many steps in between everything and no balls over the goal line. That is how we are used to living. We are used to living in a state of chaotic expenditure, chasing a lot of things all at once. That myth of multitasking. Multitasking disrupts your ability to move forward and you lose time every time. Always, right? So there is some healthy multitasking, just not totally against it, but just in moderation. When we have this clear vision of this single pointed focus in achieving our goals and getting to where we set out to go, what ends up happening is it feels like we're doing less. One of my clients told me once, Madeline, when I first started working with you, it felt like we were going so slow. Here's why. Look at this picture. Look at how few steps there are from that start line to the goal line. In the first picture, there were exponentially more steps with less achievement. I want you to do fewer steps that are more impactful. And it feels uncomfortable at first because we're used to running around like crazy. Less activity, more momentum. That seems counterintuitive. It's what I call going slow to go fast. We take our time in the beginning. We really get used to getting in this space of momentum and achievement, momentum and achievement, momentum and achievement. And pretty soon we have that big, huge snowball. Now we can go back to the pile and start again for a new goal, or we can roll that goal on over and start using the ball we already built to even go further. It's a really powerful thing that when you give yourself, and by the way, your team, permission to go slow to go fast, right? To be conscientious about the steps they're taking instead of just rushing around doing everything, to do fewer things better, you will achieve more. It feels uncomfortable at first, but when that ball is rolling and you hardly even have to touch it, man, does that feel good. And it's so, so totally worth it. Another piece back to that idea of allowing people the ability to move, right? The ability to chart their path. Systems and processes tell us how to do what we do. And it gives us a very important lifeline in our business of repeatability and predictability. And those are really important. But don't forget that your systems and your processes are enlivened by people, that your people are moving, and that there is plenty of space, right? A couple of steps in the wrong direction are better than no steps at all, right? They can course correct. Preventing your team members from making any wrong steps stifles their ability to recover when they do, right? You can't let them make catastrophic mistakes or steps way out of their lane. That's not what I'm suggesting. But give people the chance to move towards their goals without you micromanaging every single step along the way. When we micromanage every single step along the way, we're telling our team, I don't trust you to get this done. So I'm going to dictate every little single turn and step you make. That is very disempowering. And of course, that temptation comes in when we haven't hired people well and we haven't been clear about the goals and the vision and the processes and the systems. All of those bad habits creep up in response to poor management. Micromanagement's not a style of managing. I had a potential client tell me that his style of managing was micromanaging. I didn't work with him because he was not open to understanding that that's not a style. that is a red flag that there's a major problem in the organization. When you've done a great job with hiring, when you've done a great job establishing processes, when you've done a great job helping your team and embrace their vision of success and then rolling out these goals, you can trust that they're going to move in the direction of that goal as long as you're spot checking, right? And this is a big piece. Let them course correct, right? Set the goal, let them move in the direction of it, and let them course correct and help them course correct when it's needed. Don't just like step off and watch the car go off the side of the bridge. You've got to tell them, tap the brakes every now and then, or hit the gas a little harder, or turn left, right? You do have to step in. Not saying hands-off management, but I am saying let them drive their car, right? Let them do it. Right? Nobody likes a backseat driver. When you set these goals in order, and the word, right? The goals and the word, and now we have all those pieces mulling together, setting time on the calendar with you and your team, your direct reports and your indirect reports to check in, status update on the goals. That's how you help course correct when needed, right? If you're doing a status update bi-monthly, at least once a month or twice a month to see where things are going, you're really keeping your fingers on that pulse, right? And nothing major has happened without you helping and stepping in. And when your team is really good, you can do it once a month, right? And this helps keep everyone moving in that direction, keeping that goal top of mind, but letting them course correct. My dad was in aviation. He's retired now. He was managed mechanical safety for a freight airline. And he always used to tell me the story of how he would go into his boss, who was a very brash, bold, really high risk taker. He actually ran rail cars, right? He was a rail car racer too. So it kind of gives you an idea of his style. Maybe that's like you. And he would go into his boss after carefully planning everything, go to the owner and present the plan. And he'd be like, nope, we're not doing it that way. We're doing it this way. And my dad had to learn very, very much, do not fall in love with the plan. Fall in love with the goal, and then be flexible with the plan. When the opposite happens and the goal is vague, but the plan is like, and then 1, 2, 3, so rigid, all creativity and the momentum and the ability to see opportunity and to flex into it gets eliminated from your business and your growth. Don't fall in love with the plan, fall in love with the goal, and allow the plan to adjust, to course correct as needed as you move more closely to where it is you want to accomplish. Now, our last step is what I call ripple. Ripple your goal, your word, your single point of focus into all the departments of your business, right? I've been touching on this throughout. It's integral to your success. It's what allows you to move that strength that you start the year with in through every single month, in through every single person. I talked about those campaigns of hearts and souls, like hearts and minds. That's what gets you to where you want to go. Your people, not just your products, not just your process, it's your people. If you have people who would run through a burning fire with you, who'd walk over coals with you, then you are really well on your way, because every single action creates a ripple effect, right? And if you can push that first domino and they all motivate and support and get each other going, enliven that goal, you are going to be on fire, right? And one of the critical ways, just mentioned it, calendar. Put those big rocks on your calendar with your team to be checking in those status updates on where are we now, how are we going, where are we doing, and don't underestimate those diamonds in the rough, those people. Give them the opportunity to sit in on these higher level meetings if you want them to think about elevating to that level. Let them feel what it's like to be getting there. Let people in on this journey with you. It will help raise, the rising tide lifts all boats. That's what you want in your business, to be a boat lifter, right? To lift everyone up so that they're achieving at a higher level, they're firing on all cylinders, and they're really excited and motivated to propel the success that is ultimately your vision, that you've helped them catch the fire of your vision and it becomes their own. And when they own it at that level, you have so much power behind you in what you can accomplish. So that's what I wanted to invite you to this afternoon, to take the leap, to jump, to leap to a new level of leadership yourself, to invite your team to step up, and to really keep the momentum and the joy and the excitement of moving forward in a really good direction, no matter what that direction is. And the 5 simple steps to keep 2019 as strong as you're starting it: decide what success means to you. Help your team define what success means to them. Establish your current business baseline. Know where you're beginning. Know where each department is so you don't trip over gold blocks to pick up pennies. Imagine what could be possible in your business. Don't settle for that first stab, right? Don't settle for that first, I guess we could do this, right? Luxuriate in the possibility before you settle on something. And then set that big overarching goal, right? Have that word that you really use to keep that fire burning brightly with your team, and ripple effect into all aspects of your business so that everyone knows what the goal is for the year, what the word is for the year, where you're moving as an organization. They can understand their piece in that role, their piece in the puzzle. They know how they're contributing to it, and they feel excited and invested, because that's what will get you to where it is that you want to grow. So that is what I had for you today, these 5 powerful steps to help you really get this excitement behind 2019. And this is assuming that you've already set some goals, but now to take you as a business owner to another level, you as a manager to another level, and how you grow and motivate and keep this flame alive within your team. So I want you to share with me your thoughts. One of the things I love to do with my private clients is an aha moment. If you're okay sharing them publicly, I won't say your name, but what was an aha moment that you're walking away with from today's presentation? Share it in the Q&A or ask me questions here. It's a really cool practice that I'm happy to share with you, and it's something great way to wrap up your meetings. What is an aha moment? What was something that you're like, that's cool, I can't wait to use that, I can't wait to share that? Because those sort of aha moments help to remind ourselves of what we learned and to take it then further. So what kind of aha moments do you have to share? Pop it in the Q&A chat there, or ask me your questions if you have any. And while you're doing that, I actually have a quick little announcement for you. The WDDA is going to be at the International Builder Show, IBS, and that's going to be in February from the 19th to the 21st. I'm actually going to be there speaking live for the NAHB on a couple of their 55 plus communities and their remodeler sections. So look for my segments there, but make sure that you swing by and go see the WDDA team. They've got a booth there, so make sure you stop in, say hello, and join us at IBS. So we're just about here ready to wrap up, unless anyone has an aha. And don't worry, I won't call you out by name. I'll just share your aha with the group. And one of the reasons to do this, again, powerful management practice, is for you, learning happens when we reiterate it. I had I think like 4th grade teacher who used to say to me, repetition is the branding iron of knowledge. Repetition is the branding iron of knowledge, which means like when we say it again and again, it helps us own it on a deeper level. So any aha moments that you want to share that is really helpful for you as an owner, a leader, I have one here. Superstars aren't like everyone else. Give them their space, right? Yes. There's a big difference between the worker bee and the queen bee, right? You've got to let your superstars act like superstars. Now, don't forget to give them lanes. Don't forget to hold them accountable for their goals, right? That's important, right? Make them stay in their lane and make them have accountability towards the goal, and help them, right? Keep them on track. Help them course correct when necessary with strength and with kindness. And don't snuff out their flame. Right? Let them be superstars. We're paying them more. We're giving them more responsibility. We're giving them more because we want more from them. So let them contribute more as well. I've got a couple here in the chat. Let's see. This is a great one. Don't fall in love with the plan, fall in love with the goal. Yes, it's a really powerful aha. Think about how much freedom that gives your team, right? If they made a stumble in execution, on executing to the plan, they haven't derailed everything, right? If they know that you can course correct along the way, they will be bolder to take those opportunities and to do more with the opportunities that they're presented with, right? It's a really powerful thing that can help you make that momentum ripple into each team. Those are awesome ahas. Keep them coming. If you've got any more, make sure you pop them in the chat or in the Q&A box. I will read them aloud and riff off of them a little bit here as we wrap up today. Thank you so much for joining us live and for investing in your personal growth and in the growth of your business. We are so excited to have you as members of the WDDA and are very excited to look forward to meeting with you live in Las Vegas. So make sure that you're booking your flights and reserving your spot at the IBS show, and we'll look forward to seeing you then. Oh, we got another one. This speed of the leader, the speed of the team. Yes, yes. That means that if you go quickly and run in every direction, your team is going to go quickly running in every direction. If you take your time, take a breath, and then act, you can do so much, right? You can do so much. Really cool. Thank you for that aha. All right, everybody. Thank you for being an excellent audience. Really love teaching for the WDDA and teaching for all of you. Looking forward to our next one. And I will also look forward to seeing you at the IBS show. And also for those of you, make sure you're getting the dealer day on your calendar already, right? It's already scheduled. So make sure that you're looking for announcements on that and registering to attend live. It's going to be a great day of live education. And I want to encourage you all to be there. All right, everybody, thank you so much for your participation and for investing your time with me today. I look forward to chatting with you again. Make this day and this week and this year absolutely amazing. Thanks, everybody. Bye.